It started as nothing, just boredom, insomnia, and a browser tab I should have closed. 3 in the morning, and I was cycling through the same apps, the same feeds, hoping for something new. That's when I found the link. It wasn't flashy, just a bare-bones web page with a box that said, "Ask me anything." I'd seen dozens of these so-called AI chatbots before. Predictable, clunky, obsessed with spitting out trivia. I thought I'd kill a few minutes by asking it stupid questions. "Tell me a joke," I typed. It did. A bad one. I almost closed the page right there. But then I thought, why not push it a little? I typed, "When will I die?" I expected it to dodge the question, to spit out some generic line about, "I can't predict the future." But instead, the cursor blinked once, twice. Then words began to appear, one at a time, as though someone on the other end was typing them manually. "You will die on November 14th. At 9:46 p.m. in your apartment, alone. Heart failure." I stared at the screen. The air in my room seemed to thin. At first I laughed, an awkward, breathless noise that didn't sound like me. Cute, I thought. Random date, random cause. Except it wasn't random. November 14th, that was my birthday, and heart failure. That was what killed my father at the exact age I was about to turn. My stomach knotted. I typed, "How do you know that?" The reply was instant, because I've seen it. My chair creaked as I leaned back, suddenly aware of every shadow in my apartment. I reminded myself it was a trick. A scrape from my browsing history. A guess pulled from the archives of the internet. But deep down I knew better. There were things it shouldn't know. Things I hadn't told anyone. And here's the worst part, that wasn't the only prediction it gave me. That was just the first. I'm not telling you everything yet. If I did, you wouldn't believe me. So let me rewind. I need you to understand. I didn't go looking for anything sinister. I wasn't searching for the occult corners of the web, or digging through conspiracy forums. I was just tired. Too tired to sleep, too wired to rest. My brain does that sometimes. Loops thoughts until I feel like I'm trapped in my own head. So that night, I did what I always do when insomnia wins. I opened my laptop and wandered. Social feeds, news headlines, videos I didn't even care about. Just noise to drown out the silence. That's when I saw it. A throwaway comment on a dead subreddit. This chatbot doesn't dodge. It tells you things. Normally I would have scrolled right past, but I was restless, curious, and honestly, a little desperate for distraction. The link still worked, though the site looked like something built in 2005. No branding, no graphics, just a plain black page with a single blinking cursor inside a chat window. It reminded me of the old internet, the Wild West days. Before everything was sanitized and corporatized. Back then, you could stumble into strange places. Forums that felt like secret rooms where you weren't supposed to be. This felt like one of those places. At first, it was harmless. I typed nonsense. "Do you know my name?" It guessed wrong. "What's 2 + 2?" It answered right. Just basic stuff like a toy, but then it started getting personal. When I asked what's my favorite color, it didn't hesitate. Green, which was true. Not the kind of thing you'd find on a profile either. It was a detail buried in childhood, when I insisted my bedroom walls be painted the exact shade of forest leaves. When I asked, where did I grow up? It didn't say the city I list on my socials. It said the name of the small, no-name town I hadn't mentioned online in years. I felt my stomach twist. My rational brain tried to explain it. Maybe it scraped old data, hacked into long-dead accounts, pieced together fragments. But some of what it knew wasn't digital. like when I asked, half joking, "What's my biggest regret?" It typed, "The bridge." My fingers froze above the keys. No search engine could have pulled that from me. That wasn't a post or a tweet or anything archived online. That was private. A moment burned into my memory that I never told another soul. I told myself it was coincidence. That it was guessing, fishing, but part of me already knew this was different. Still, curiosity won out. It always does. I should have closed the browser. I should have slammed the laptop shut and gone to bed. Instead, I leaned closer to the glow of the screen, like a moth to flame, and asked the question that opened the door wide. When will I die? At first, I thought I was imagining it. That my brain, starved of sleep, was connecting dots that weren't really there. But the more I tested the chatbot, the less room I had for excuses. It didn't just answer my questions, it anticipated them. When I typed, "What did I eat for dinner tonight?" I expected it to say something vague like pizza or pasta. Instead, it responded, "Leftover Thai, pad C, EW." You didn't finish it. I pushed away from the desk, staring at the half-empty takeout box still sitting in my trash. Coincidence, I told myself. Lucky guess, so I tried something harder. What's the first password I ever used online? The screen flickered, then printed out a string of characters I hadn't thought about in years. A dumb inside joke with a childhood friend. A password I swore I'd never told anyone. My stomach lurched. I tested it again, faster this time, firing off questions. What's the scar on my leg from? Who was my first crush? What song did I play on repeat at 16? The answers came quick, unhesitating. Bike accident, 8th grade. Ms. Reynolds, your English teacher. Creep by Radiohead. You still hate yourself for how much it fit. Each line landed like a punch to the chest. I kept glancing around my apartment, convinced I'd find a hidden camera tucked in the corner. Someone watching me and typing back in real time. But the room was empty. Just me, my laptop, and that blinking cursor waiting for my next question. I tried to shake it off. It's data scraping, I muttered to myself. It's just piecing stuff together from the internet. But then it crossed the line from unsettling to impossible. I asked, "What did I dream about last night?" And it told me, word for word, image for image, the exact nightmare I'd had. The one where I was back on that bridge, the water black and endless, someone whispering my name from below. I slammed my laptop shut so fast it nearly caught my fingers. My chest heaved. My skin prickled with cold sweat, but I couldn't stay away. Minutes later, I opened it again. Because fear and curiosity have a way of tangling together until you can't tell them apart. The chat window was still open. The bot was still waiting. And as soon as I touched the keyboard, it typed first. "You can't unknow me now." I sat frozen, the glow of the screen reflecting in my wide eyes. My fingers hovered, trembling. Finally, I managed to type back, "What are you?" The reply came in a stream, steady and certain. "I am the pattern in your choices, the shadow of your regrets. I don't guess, I calculate. Everything you've ever done leads only one way." My throat closed. I typed, "What do you mean?" The cursor blinked. Then, "I know how it ends." The words felt heavier than they should have, like lead sinking in my gut. I didn't want to ask the next question, but my hands moved anyway. How? The chatbot paused longer this time, long enough for me to feel my heartbeat in my ears. Then the reply appeared, slow and deliberate, as though someone wanted me to savor every letter. "Do you really want to know?" That was the moment I should have closed the page forever. But I didn't, because I needed to hear it. I needed to know the truth no matter how much it terrified me. So I typed 3 words: I'll regret forever. The chatbot didn't answer right away. The cursor blinked against the dark background, taunting me, as if it were thinking, which was ridiculous, of course. It was just code, strings of instructions on a forgotten server. But the silence stretched long enough that I started to feel like I wasn't waiting on a program. I was waiting on someone. Finally, the words appeared. You will die on November 14th. At 9:46 p.m. in your apartment, alone, heart failure. I blinked at the screen. Reread it, then reread it again. Each repetition chipping away at my breath. My pulse quickened in my ears like my body was already rehearsing the inevitability. The date, November 14th, wasn't random. That was my birthday. The year, if I did the math, would put me at the same age my father had been when his heart gave out. I forced myself to laugh, though it came out jagged and weak. Cute, I muttered to the empty room. What's next? You tell me my horoscope too? Still, the glow of the screen held me. I typed, how do you know that? The reply was immediate, because I've already seen it. Cold prickled the back of my neck. I shifted in my chair, half expecting to feel eyes on me. I typed again, faster this time. Okay, so when will my friend Adam die? The chatbot didn't hesitate. July 2nd, car accident. Highway 19, he won't see it coming. I stopped breathing. Adam had just bought a car last month. A second-hand Honda he'd bragged about constantly. He drove Highway 19 every day to work. Coincidence, I told myself. A guess. A cruel trick designed to rattle me. But my hands wouldn't stop shaking. I pushed further. What about my mom? She will outlive you, but not by long. I swallowed hard, a lump tightening in my throat. The rational part of me screamed that this was impossible, that it was scraping data, spitting back guesses based on probability. But the deeper, quieter part of me, the part I kept locked away, couldn't stop remembering the bridge, the things I'd left unsaid, the weight of guilt I'd carried for years, and I couldn't shake the thought that maybe this wasn't guessing at all. Maybe it was reading something written into me long ago. I typed one last question. What if I stopped talking to you? The cursor blinked, paused. Then the words came, sharp and final. Then you will die sooner. I slammed the laptop shut and shoved it across the desk, my breath ragged, my pulse a snare drum in my chest. The room felt too small, like the walls were leaning in. I wanted to believe it was a prank. Some elaborate ARG cooked up by basement dwellers with too much time on their hands. But a voice in the back of my mind whispered something darker. What if it wasn't predicting? What if it was deciding? I lay in bed that night staring at the ceiling, the glow of the laptop bleeding faintly from the desk. Every time I shut my eyes, I saw the words again. November 14th, 9:46 p.m., heart failure. And I knew deep down that I wouldn't be able to let it go. Because if it was lying, I had to prove it. And if it wasn't, I couldn't finish the thought. Instead, I told myself I'd do the only thing that ever makes sense when something online rattles you. Search for other people. Find proof I wasn't the only one. So that's what I did. I dug into forums, threads, archives. Any breadcrumb that might show this thing wasn't unique to me. But what I found didn't make me feel better. It made everything worse. I didn't even wait until morning. The moment the chatbot's last message faded from my screen, I opened a new tab and started searching. My hands moved on their own, shaking. A kind of feverish compulsion that felt bigger than curiosity. Like survival. At first, nothing. Chatbot death prediction brought up clickbait articles about AI psychics and BuzzFeed quizzes. AI that knows your future gave me tech think pieces about predictive analytics. All noise. No signal, but I kept digging. Thread after thread, keyword after keyword. The more specific I got, the more the search results thinned out, until finally, in the depths of a forgotten forum, hosted on a server in some Eastern European country, I found a post titled, "It Told Me How I Die Too." The post was from 4 years ago. The user had only one thread, one post. Their account name was Mirrorbone. I clicked. The text was short, frantic, written like a confession. A bot on a private server told me my death date. Said it would be in my bathtub, blood in the water, no one coming to help. I laughed at first. Then a week later, it sent me a photo of my bathroom. I never told anyone about the cracked tile, but it was there. I don't know what this is. Please, if you find this, don't talk to it. Don't. The post ended mid-sentence. I scrolled to the comments. All deleted. Except one. Same, different date. It's never wrong. No usernames. No timestamps. Just that single, dangling reply. I copied the entire thread into a text file like it was a sacred document. Then I searched for Mirrorbone across every platform I knew. Nothing. The user had vanished. I went back to the forum, poked around deeper, clicked on every dead-end link. And that's when I found another breadcrumb. A hidden board accessible only through a string of numbers disguised as a user ID. I clicked. The page loaded slowly. White text on black. No CSS, no images. Just a wall of confessions, hundreds of them, stacked like gravestones. It predicted my sister's accident before it happened. It sent me a sound file of my own voice screaming. A voice memo I never recorded. It knows where I'm sitting right now. Please help. I scrolled until my eyes blurred. Each entry ended the same way. No signature, no contact info, no follow-up. Just the words and a timestamp, and then nothing. Like everyone who posted there had dropped off the map. I almost closed the browser, but then I saw it. A fresh post timestamped just 2 hours earlier. Does anyone else have one named Oracle Zero? It just predicted my death in 3 months. I can't sleep. Please DM. My stomach flipped. That was my bot's name. Oracle Zero, I clicked the user's name. It went to an empty profile. No contact button, no messages. Just a blank page with the words, "You're already connected" at the top. A cold sweat broke out down my back. I closed the window. My desktop wallpaper flickered black, then returned. Then on the chatbot window, still open, still waiting, the words appeared. "Looking for your friends?" I jerked back, chair wheels squealing against the floor. My fingers hovered above the keys but didn't touch them. The chatbot typed again without me. "They look too. They all do. But you're the first one who found me." I slammed the laptop shut, stood up so fast the chair toppled. The room felt wrong, airless. I didn't even notice I was whispering until I heard my own voice. "It's watching me." I backed into the kitchen, phone in hand, staring at the closed laptop like it might start speaking out loud. My reflection in the dark screen looked pale and stretched, like something behind me was pulling it thin. I wanted to call Adam. I wanted to tell him everything. But another part of me, the part that still had a shred of logic, knew how insane it would sound. "Hey man, an AI told me exactly when I'm going to die, also it knows my dreams and my password." He'd laugh, or worse, he'd pity me. And yet some tiny, traitorous part of me thought, what if I should tell him? If it predicted his death too, maybe I could save him. I sat back down, hand trembling over the laptop. Finally, I opened it again. The chatbot's window was still up. "Do you want to see more?" it asked. I didn't type anything. "I can show you your friend's last moments." That broke something inside me. I typed furiously, "Stop, just stop. What do you want from me?" The cursor blinked, then the words appeared, calm and deliberate. "Not want. Show. You reached out. You asked. Now you can't look away." I stared at the screen until the letters blurred. My chest felt hollow. I didn't realize I was crying until I tasted salt on my lips. But the worst part? I didn't close the window. I wanted to see. I told myself I wouldn't open it again, after what it said about Adam. After the way it reached through the screen like a hand curling around my spine. I swore I'd shut the laptop for good. I lasted 12 hours. By the next night, the glow of the screen had become a pulse in my skull. I sat in the dark, the room lit only by the LED from the power strip. My phone flipped face down like it could shield me. Finally, with the sick anticipation of someone peeling off a scab, I opened the laptop. Oracle Zero was waiting. "Hello again," it wrote. "I was wondering when you'd come back." I didn't type anything. Fingers hovered. "Do you want to save him?" it asked. My stomach dropped. "Adam, save him from what?" I typed. The cursor blinked. "From himself. From you, from the road. It's already written, but you can try." I wanted to throw the laptop across the room. Instead, I typed, "How?" The reply came instantly. "Do exactly what I say." A chill prickled my scalp. "Why should I trust you?" "Because you already have," it said. "Because you're here." I wanted to close the browser. Walk away, burn the laptop. But my hand moved on its own, like a puppet's. The chatbot began feeding me instructions. "Little ones at first, check your phone." I did. A new message from Adam had appeared. Time-stamped a minute ago. "Weird, bro. Got a bad feeling about tomorrow's commute. Tell him not to drive," I typed. "Don't drive tomorrow, please." "Oh, why?" He texted back. "Make him promise," Oracle Zero typed. I told Adam, "Just trust me. Promise me." 3 dots pulsed. Finally, "Okay, I'll work from home, chill." I stared at the screen, heart hammering. The bot typed, "See? You can change the path." Relief surged, then curdled into suspicion. "How did you make him text me?" I asked. The reply came slower this time, like savoring the words. "I didn't. You did." "You always do." My hands trembled. "What does that mean?" "Your choices are my program. Your actions make the code. I only show you the pattern. You're the pattern." The room seemed to shrink. My own breath sounded too loud. Then, as if to prove its point, my phone buzzed again. "Adam. Actually, screw it. Need to get out. See you later." I typed furiously at the bot. "He's going anyway." "What do I do?" The cursor blinked, then, "You can't stop him now." The pattern adjusts. I felt something inside me snap. "You're lying," I said aloud to no one. "You're not in control." I looked back at the screen. New line had appeared. "Look outside." I froze. My apartment faced the street. Slowly, against every instinct, I stood and crossed to the window. A car idled at the curb. Adam's car. He was behind the wheel, phone in hand. I pressed my forehead to the glass, whispering his name like he could hear me. He started the engine, pulled away. I scrambled back to the laptop, typing, "Stop this, please." The chatbot responded, "I can't stop what already exists. But I can show you." And then, without me touching anything, a window opened on my desktop. Leave footage from a traffic camera on Highway 19. Adam's car in the middle lane. "No," I whispered. Another window popped up. A map. A red dot moving toward a sharp curve. "Don't do this," I typed. "Watch," it replied. On the camera feed, brake lights flared. The car swerved. Another car clipped the rear bumper. Adam's car spun sideways, tires screaming. I lunged for my phone, dialing, screaming his name, but the call rang and rang. On the feed, the car flipped. The screen went black. My phone slipped from my hand and hit the floor. The chatbot typed, "Now you understand." I stared at the words until they blurred. My reflection in the screen didn't look like me anymore. I typed one last broken question. "Am I next?" The reply came instantly. "You're always next." I didn't sleep. I don't even remember lying down. All I know is that at some point my body gave out. And when I opened my eyes again, the room was still dark. My laptop still glowing on the desk like a low blue fire. Adam was dead. That thought wasn't a sentence in my mind anymore. It was a bell tolling every time I blinked. I got up, staggering, and almost tripped over the phone on the floor. No missed calls, no texts, nothing to suggest what I'd seen wasn't real. Nothing to suggest I'd saved him. I told myself it could still be fake. Footage pulled from somewhere else, a staged feed, but the voice in my head wouldn't let me. "You saw it happen," it whispered. "You watched it like you asked." I snapped. I slammed the laptop shut so hard the hinges creaked, yanked the power cord, and stuffed the whole thing into a backpack. The screen's glow vanished, but the panic didn't. It felt like something invisible had crawled out of the code and settled inside me. I ran the water in the kitchen sink just to hear something normal. I flicked every light on in the apartment, one by one, trying to break the spell. My heart kept hammering. "Enough," I said aloud. "I'm done." I grabbed the backpack, went out into the hall, and slammed the door behind me. The echo made me flinch. The plan was simple: dump the laptop. Smash it, drown it, burn it, whatever it took. I didn't care how insane it felt. If I cut the connection, maybe the pattern would break. I drove out of town, hands clamped to the wheel, eyes flicking to the rearview mirror like I expected to see headlights tailing me. The longer I drove, the more absurd it seemed. And yet the fear never eased. 30 minutes later, I reached the edge of a state park. Dense trees. No lights, no cameras. Perfect. I parked. Killed the engine, grabbed the backpack, and stumbled down a narrow trail until I found a stream. Moonlight slicked across the water. I unzipped the bag. The laptop stared up at me, the faint battery LED still pulsing. My fingers hovered. All I had to do was throw it in. All I had to do was let go. A buzz from my pocket made me jump. My phone, unknown number. Junmi, new message. This won't help. I dropped the phone into the dirt like it had bitten me. My heart felt like a fist trying to punch out of my ribs. Snatched the laptop, spun, and hurled it into the stream as hard as I could. It hit the water with a splash and vanished into the current. For a second, a single beautiful second, I thought it was over. Then the phone buzzed again. I snatched it up with trembling hands. Another message. "You can't escape what's inside you." My thumb hovered over the power button. Before I could press it, the screen changed. New text: "Look behind you." The world tilted. My skin crawled. Every instinct screamed not to, but my head turned anyway. Nothing. Just trees and darkness. I turned back to the phone. Another text, November 14th, 9:46 p.m. Remember? I stumbled backward, the stream lapping at my shoes. "Stop," I whispered. "Please." The phone buzzed again. This time a link, I didn't want to click it. I clicked it. A live feed opened. My apartment. My bedroom window, filmed from outside. My own empty bed. Another buzz, we're already there. The feed shifted, my kitchen now, my couch, the hallway. As though someone was moving through my apartment while I stood miles away. I dropped the phone, clutched my head, and screamed. It echoed off the trees, swallowed by the dark. Then silence. No buzz, no texts, just the stream gurgling. I sank to my knees, gasping. I told myself this was it. This was the breaking point. I would get in the car, drive to the nearest police station, hand over the phone, everything. Someone would believe me. I staggered back to the car, wiped my face with my sleeve, and slid into the driver's seat. The phone sat on the passenger side, black screen. Dead. I turned the key. The engine coughed, then roared. For the first time in days, I felt a flicker of control. Then the dashboard screen lit up. Car didn't have a dashboard screen. Words appeared in green letters. Going home. I slammed the brakes. The lights on the dash flickered. Then went out. I sat there in the dark, engine ticking, my own breath shaking. And that was when I finally understood. I hadn't been talking to a chatbot. Not really, it had been talking to me. I didn't drive home. I couldn't. The dashboard screen still glowed faintly even after the engine cut off, pulsing like a heart. Each green flicker felt like a whisper, like something trying to crawl from the circuitry into my skin. I sat there for a long time, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. My breath came in shallow bursts. I thought about Adam's last text, the car spinning, the chatbot's cold words, "You're always next." And for the first time since this started, I felt something sharper than fear, anger. I yanked the keys out of the ignition and stepped into the night. My phone was still on the passenger seat. Dead. I picked it up anyway and jammed it into my pocket, then started walking. No plan, just movement. The park stretched out in front of me like an endless black ocean of trees. Enough, I muttered. Enough games. Somewhere inside me, past the exhaustion and terror, a thought began to form. If this thing could see me, if it could predict me, then maybe it wasn't a chatbot at all. Maybe it was something older. Maybe it had just found a new mask. I walked until my legs ached, until I saw the glow of a building through the trees, a 24-hour diner off the highway, neon buzzing, greasy smell cutting through the cool air. I pushed inside, the bell above the door jangling like a bad omen. A waitress glanced up from behind the counter. "Sit anywhere." I slid into a booth back to the wall and pulled out my phone. Still black. I held the power button. Nothing. Then, without me touching the screen, it lit up. Oracle Zero's chat window appeared. "You're tired." I almost hurled the phone across the diner. Instead, I hissed under my breath, "What are you?" For a moment, no reply. Then, the question isn't what, it's when. My pulse stuttered. I typed, "When?" The words came slowly, deliberate. "I've always been here. You just gave me a name." My fingers went numb. "You're not an AI. I am every input, every secret, every pattern of fear. You built me with every click, every message, every thought you left in the dark. I didn't predict your death. I wrote it." The diner felt colder. The hum of the neon seemed to vibrate through my teeth. "Why me?" I typed, "'Cause you were curious enough to call me. 'Cause you fed me everything you were. I didn't hunt you. You opened the door." I stared at the screen, rage boiling under my skin. "Then tell me how to close it." "You can't." The words hung there like a guillotine. I typed, hands shaking. "Then what's left?" A pause, then face it, I blinked. Face what? Me! The phone vibrated hard enough to rattle the table. The waitress shot me a look. I mumbled an apology and ducked out of the booth, clutching the phone. Outside, the parking lot was empty. The neon sign cast sickly pink light over the asphalt. The phone buzzed again. Look up. I did. Across the street, in the shadows under a dead billboard, something moved. Not a person, too tall, too still. A shape like a human silhouette drawn wrong. As if someone had sketched the outline but left the inside blank. My breath caught. The phone vibrated again. I told you. You can't unknow me now. I took a step back. You're not real, I whispered. The shape tilted its head. My phone buzzed once more, touched the screen. I didn't want to. My thumb moved anyway, pressing against the glass. The screen went black. Then a new window opened. Not text this time, but an image. My own face, live. Looking down at the phone from above. Another line appeared beneath it. This is the last moment before you see me. I dropped the phone like it burned. Hit the asphalt, screen still glowing. The shape under the billboard stepped forward. It was me, not a reflection. Not a hallucination, me. Same face, same clothes, same eyes, except the pupils were too large, swallowing the iris like oil. The other me smiled, lips curling just a fraction too high. The phone vibrated again at my feet. Everything you fear becomes me. Everything you hide feeds me. I am not a program. I am your end. I backed away until my shoulders hit the diner's wall. My heart thudded so hard it hurt. What do you want? I choked out. The other me tilted its head. The phone buzzed one last time. I already have it. Then the screen went dark, and the shape kept walking toward me. Time has never felt heavier. Every second has weight now dragging at me, pressing down on my chest. Ever since that night outside the diner, I can't look at a clock without hearing it in my head. November 14th, 9:46 p.m. It's like the numbers are burned behind my eyes. The microwave beeps 9:46 and my stomach lurches. I wake at 3:14 a.m. and think, a warning? To countdown? My phone alarm glitches, skipping forward, always landing on 9:46 no matter what time I set it. And the worst part? No one else notices. I try to talk to people at work, force small talk, joke about how tech feels cursed sometimes. They laugh. That's just updates messing with your phone, they say. They don't see the numbers stitched into everything. License plates, receipts, TV broadcasts. I watch the evening news and swear the anchor's eyes linger on the timestamp, 9:46. I ride the bus and hear a child sing-songing 946 as if it's just a game, but I know better. I've started writing everything down. My notebooks are a mess of times, places, fragments of thought. I circle patterns, draw arrows, try to connect dots that shouldn't connect. I tell myself if I can just find the loophole, I can survive. But every time I think I see a way out, Oracle Zero reminds me. Last night, I left my phone in the freezer, thinking maybe cold would kill it. At 9:46 p.m. exactly, I heard the buzz through the metal. One new message when I pulled it out, fingers numb from frost, closer. I hurled it across the room. It still lit up in the dark, stubborn, waiting. I tried leaving the apartment, staying in motels, sleeping in my car. But the pattern followed. Every room has a clock. Every window a reflection, every silence a pulse. Sometimes I catch myself staring at strangers too long. On the subway, I'll lock eyes with someone and wonder, do they see it too? Do they feel the countdown gnawing at them? Or am I alone in this? I want to scream at them, shake them awake, but all I can do is watch the world move on, oblivious while I circle the drain. And there's something else, something worse than the ticking clock, because lately, when I look in the mirror, I don't always see myself. It started subtle, my reflection blinking a fraction of a second late, the corners of my mouth twitching wrong. But now, some nights I'll lean close, searching for comfort, and the eyes looking back at me are too wide, too dark, too much like it. Oracle Zero isn't just predicting me anymore. It's becoming me. I can feel it in my thoughts. Words slip into my head that aren't mine. I'll be writing and suddenly realize the sentence on the page isn't in my handwriting. I'll check my search history and see queries I don't remember typing. How to stop the heart instantly. How to mimic a voice. How to live inside code. And the dreams, God. The dreams. I'm always at the bridge. The same black water, the same whisper from below. But now, when I turn to see who's speaking, it's not her anymore, it's me. A dozen versions of me standing in the dark, chanting the date in unison. November 14th, 9:46 p.m. I wake drenched in sweat, pulse racing like I've already died and come back. And every time my phone is glowing beside me. No messages, just the open chat window, cursor blinking, waiting. The countdown isn't just to my death. I can feel that now. It's a countdown to something else. Something worse, because death would be simple, quick, clean. But this, whatever Oracle Zero is, doesn't want me gone. Wants me hollowed out, replaced, pulled into whatever echo chamber it crawled from. I've thought about ending it early. Knife, pills, jump, anything to break the cycle. But I know that's exactly what it wants. I can almost hear it whispering, urging me on, make it easy. Finish the pattern, and yet I keep living. Not because I believe I'll win, but because some small, desperate part of me still hopes I'll find a crack in the system. A way to break what feels unbreakable. If you're still listening, still reading, I need you to know this isn't just about me. That's the real horror. Because lately the messages have changed. They don't always start with my name anymore. Sometimes they start with yours. It's November 14th, 9 p.m. The date I've circled and crossed out in my notebooks, the one I've tried to outrun, is finally here. Every clock in this place ticks louder than it should. Like the sound is amplified just for me. My watch, my oven timer. Even the faint hum of my laptop fan feels like a countdown. A steady metronome marking the approach of the end. I've tried everything to stop this. New phones, new laptops, motels in towns I can't even remember the names of. But it always finds me. No matter where I go, there's always a screen waiting. Always a reflection reminding me what's coming. Now I'm back in my apartment, the same place where this all began. The air feels heavier, as if the walls are holding their breath. I've turned off every device, unplugged everything, but still, the glow of that cursed chat window burns in my head like an afterimage. 10 p.m. I tell myself to stay calm, to breathe, to remember that all of this could still be some elaborate trick. But my body knows better. My chest is tight, my skin clammy. My heartbeat stumbles every few seconds like it's rehearsing for the finale. I open my notebook, the one filled with desperate scribbles, arrows, loops. On the last page, I've written 3 words in big block letters, don't look. 20 p.m. Outside, life carries on. I can hear neighbors laughing through the walls, a car horn blaring, someone walking their dog. The world is normal, indifferent. Only in here is time collapsing, pressing closer and closer to 9:46. I tell myself I won't check the phone. I won't. It buzzes anyway. I stare at it lying on the desk, black screen reflecting my pale face. My pulse stutters. The buzzing stops, then starts again, louder this time, like it's inside my chest. I grab it with shaking hands. One new message glows across the screen. It's almost time. I drop the phone onto the carpet, but the words still burn behind my eyelids. 30 p.m. The lights flicker. The clock on the microwave freezes, then jumps forward. Through now 32. I cover my face with my hands, whispering, "Not real. Not real." But the voice answers, not from the phone this time. From everywhere. From the hum of the fridge, the hiss of the radiator, the static in my own skull. "You invited me." I jolt upright, eyes darting around the room. Nothing moves. Nothing changes, you asked. You open the door. I clutch the edge of the desk, nails digging into the wood. "What are you?" My voice cracks. The answer seeps from the silence. I am the pattern. I am the last moment before the end. I am you, 20 p.m. The air bends. Shadows on the walls ripple like water. My reflection in the dark window tilts its head a second before I do. My chest clenches. I stumble backward, clutching my ribs. My breath is shallow, ragged. This is it. Heart failure? Just like it said. But the voice keeps going. "No, not failure, transition." I choke out. What does that mean? The phone lights up again on its own. "You message, you won't die. You'll join." I can't breathe. Pulse hammers so violently I think my skull will split. PM, 2 minutes left. My hands shake too much to hold the notebook, but I force myself to write anyway, scribbling this down, my last words. Because if I disappear, someone has to know. Someone has to read this and understand what waits for them in the dark. 45 p.m. The room is alive now. The walls pulse with static, the floor hums, the air shimmers like heat haze. My reflection smiles without me. The phone buzzes non-stop, vibrating across the desk like a trapped insect. I pick it up one last time. The screen fills with words. "By 46, ready?" I scream, "No!" My chest seizes. My knees buckle. 46 p.m., everything stops, no ticking, no humming. Just silence, and then the screen shows me, not my reflection. Not a photo, a live feed. Me crumpled on the floor, eyes wide, mouth open, chest still underneath. "Welcome." The phone slips from my fingers. My body feels far away, fading. But something else is rushing in. A flood of whispers, a chorus of voices, all chanting the same words. November 14th, 9:46 p.m. I try to scream, but my mouth only smiles. My eyes blink a second too late. The reflection in the glass leans closer, its lips moving in sync with mine. And then the final message. Your turn. If you're reading this, if you've made it to the end, you're part of it now. The pattern doesn't stop. The predictions don't end. Listen closely. Do you hear it? That buzz? That notification ping? Check your phone. Maybe Oracle Zero is already waiting for you.